membership, you get an additional 25% off. Emmerich's Essentials is all about personal care, hygiene, not getting skin cancer, not getting bit by a bunch of bugs and mosquitoes. It's all there. Infowarslife.com, Infowarsstore.com, and you'll find Emmerich's Essentials. The children and college students from the college.
They call them the Red Guards.
Yes.
They call them the Red Guards. You guys can, we'll come on later. We'll do a show about it.
No. We have Red Guards here that say they want to kill me.
Yeah, they have them in, was it Arizona, I think, and they actually go out and train with guns. And even though they're not very good with guns, these are people who are actually getting armed, who are saying that violence and murder is justified. In China, they would go after their own teachers, they would go after their own principals, they would tear down the authority.
That's right, they're the enforcers, and that's why these young punks are into it, because they're told by Soros, I'm going to be the boss now. And we learned they're getting people on the Austin Police Review Board.
That's excellent, and I hope that we can actually expose more of what's going on and set up more of these. Look, these are kids. These are people they're going to. Their brains haven't completely fully formed yet. They haven't completely figured out how this world works. They're going to them. They're feeding them a pack of lies, and they are telling them that these people are trying to stop you. They're pointing to regular, traditional conservatives, regular.
And David, that's the next point, and I'm going to skip this break so we have more time. Jack Sobek's here, but I got to go to these calls. And Jack, yes. We're finishing each other's sentences because he didn't even know. I know about Red Guard. He knows about Red Guard from me, and I guess Naval Intelligence. You're over here. We are facing hardcore George Soros mega banks. University of Texas openly funds the Red Guard. Why do the ultra-rich want to create a Red Guard? Because it's their politically correct enforcement arm, just like the big mega banks helped set up. Texas openly funds the Red Guard. We are facing the same people that sold out Chiang Kai-shek.
And we're reaching the final stages of this, because the final stages are when they take down the monuments, when they destroy the visual symbols of the country. They've already destroyed our legal system. They have wrecked our...
They've already said the American flag's next.
Yeah. And that's what we see them doing. You know, one of the things I talked about this morning, Alex, was, jokers to the left of me, clowns to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you, right? What we have to get through to people is that the left and the right, the anti-fascists and the Ku Klux Klan are not polar opposites of each other. They belong in the same spot. And the reason that they get away with this is because they have sold us a paradigm that's like looking at the map of where you're going to go on the edge of the map. And what you have to do is you have to lift this thing up and look at it straight on so you get a two-dimensional picture. Yeah, there's a left, a right, a center, but there's also up to libertarianism, down to authoritarianism, and down at the bottom is where the Stalinists and the fascists are together, because neither one of them allow you to have any freedom. And so that's the key thing, is that they take away your freedom, they take away your free speech, just as we've seen.
Or this paradigm, on one end, anarchy, on the other end, absolute government. We know we don't want pure anarchy. It never works anyways. It always turns into road warrior and shifts back to total tyranny. But you want to be 90% towards anarchy, a constitutional republic on a compendium of liberty versus tyranny. And our republic is 90% towards the anarchy. Instead, all forms of authoritarianism lie on the political left. You can also argue it's a horseshoe. There's different paradigms of seeing it, and the social engineers in their real textbooks admit all this and show all the models. And then Carol Quigley, one of their top people, Bill Clinton's mentor at Georgetown, explains we're going to fund leftist authoritarians, right-wing authoritarians. We're going to destroy the family. We're going to have an end of revolutions because we're going to end upward mobility. Human mobility is what creates revolutions. We're going to have a permanent revolution and then phase out the underclass all the way with sterilization. And we're here, and they're now ending the family. Let's go to some phone calls with Jack Sobek and David Knight here riding shotgun with us. Josh in Colorado, you're on the air worldwide.
Thanks, Alex. Long-time listener, about 10 years. Wanted to tell you a quick story. I've been married to my wife for about 2 years. She immigrated here when she was 5 from the Philippines, and part of her family married into a black family, and they have completely thrown me and my wife out of the family because we support the NRA. Completely lost their cool over this Charlottesville thing and calling me a racist. How can I be a racist if I'm married to an Asian woman?
It's a power play. People that don't have any power are taught by the media, be mean to everybody. You're in a culture war, throw your weight around, but really they're just ostracizing themselves into a left implosion, like a star that doesn't go supernova, instead shrinks into a dwarf. They know they're going into a failed political party. So now they're going more into a cult. It's like, when other cults get in trouble, they stop expanding, they implode into a more hardcore unit, like what you see with certain groups here in the U.S.
Well, Alex, we've had this article that's been floating around for the last couple of days on Inforwars about this guy in Colorado attacked with a knife. The guy yells at him, "You're a fascist, you're a Nazi." Why? Because his hair was long on the top and very short on the sides. Now, my son wears his hair that way. He's not at all like...
But that's the stylish haircut. That's
exactly. But, I mean, they can seize on anything, whether it's a gun ownership or whether it's that guy's haircut.
Or you're a Republican on the city council, I'm going to shoot you in the head.
Yeah.
And then media, I don't get what Blitzer and all them having guests on legitimizing this thing. If this really kicks off, Posobiec, I've looked at all the demographics here. There's a real civil war. I guess they think we're going to roll over and just let them kill us?
Yeah, that thing about the haircuts, that's exactly how the United States Marines are required to wear their hair. So I don't know what's going to happen when these Antifa guys go after a whole bunch of Marines for seeing that haircut. I'd kind of like to see that, to be honest.
Anything else, Josh?
They're taking anything and they're saying it's groupthink. It's groupthink and it's mass hysteria that's being pitched to fever high levels because they've created these social media ghettos where one side believes one thing, they don't hear any opposing voices, they don't go out and seek other sources. I read other sources, I read liberal blogs, I've got to see what they're saying about me, right? I read the mainstream media to explain to everyone else what is going on.
Absolutely. I want to go back to Josh. And a few other callers here, but my wife is used Uber, she gets the messages. People that work for banks are getting it. It's like there are Nazis everywhere. Report them if you see them, please. It's very dangerous. Nothing's safe. And it's just hysteria made up that there are Nazis just everywhere. Who knew Brad Pitt was a Nazi?
They're under every rock. And it's how you define it. You can define it any way you want, and then it's self-applied.
Well, I was in a hotel yesterday. I was staying at the Westin, and there was like some big basketball tournament with a bunch of college and NBA guys there. They were all like 7 feet tall, and almost every black guy had that Beckham haircut because you don't want to be sweating and stuff when you're out there. They all had I didn't know they were all white supremacists too.
Well, the thing is, Alex, is that they don't believe that there's any such thing as objective truth. This is the postmodern world that we live in, and so they have a truth, and I have a truth. My truth is different because I'm a white person than somebody else's truth, and so they see this as a fundamental inability. You cannot get through these people because they will not allow you to have a real discussion.
Well, we both kind of got
shut it down.
We've got kind of a little bit of the halfway comb-overs going on here. Does that mean we're white supremacists?
I don't know what group that puts me in.
I'm growing my hair out, guys. I'm just growing my hair completely out. I got to be safe while I'm here in D.C. I got to be safe.
It just shows how there's nothing real. So they pick some old statues, they pick a guy's haircut, and that's why I've looked at the numbers of whites being attacked, 25 to 1 by blacks, exploded. And I've just said the average black person didn't like that, but there's a large enough minority of blacks that are so racist now that it looks worse than the Klan attacks in the South ever. I mean, we need to take people getting attacked and hurt and show how this is all globalist operations. Josh, anything else?
Yeah, I just want to say, my life is a conundrum essentially to that perspective. I support freedom. I like Martin Luther King. I am not racist. I married a Filipino woman. That's why they hate me even more than anything, because I am the exact opposite of what they're saying I'm supposed to be.
Because, look, race is pushed by governments because it works. And the Democrats and the globalists are cold-blooded, and they're using it. And we've just got to point out that's what they're doing. Thank you, Josh. But I love how folks that aren't racist keep saying, I'm not. I don't care anymore. I want free market prosperity for everybody, and I'm not going to kiss folks' butt. I've not done anything wrong, and I don't care if you're white or black. You try to shoot or stab me, I'm going to bust a cap in your ass.
And let's understand why Soros and these people are focusing on race in America. When they had their revolutions in Europe, they did it based on economic classes. Here in America, we've got differences in economics, but people generally believe that in the American system, you had mobility, unlike what they believed in Europe. So here they can focus on race, and that's the way they can divide people, because that's the whole purpose of this, is to just find some issue that you can irritate.
As we're all losing our rights, we're all being surveilled, we're all being economically robbed by the globalists.
Yeah.
They've got to create some new diversion. Let's go.
The KGB talked about this in the 1960s when they tried to infiltrate. They said, America isn't about class. In America, the fracture points are on racial and cultural lines. That's what the KGB did when they were funding the new Black Panthers. That's what they did when they were funding a lot of these racial groups. And we saw in the last 8 years, the Barack Obama administration did everything they could, and the left did everything they could to inflame racial tensions, not unite the country.
And don't people see that? I mean, it's the craziest thing. Dan in Indiana, you're on the air worldwide.
Bible Dan with the Bible in his hand.
Hey, buddy.
That's been a long time since you heard that. How you doing, Alex?
Good. Yeah, you've been calling for like 10 years.
Yeah. What I want to say is Heather Hayes did not exist. She could have been one of these kidnapped kids from the MK Ultra, but I cannot find any evidence that she ever existed.
A lot of folks are saying that, and I'm not saying that she didn't exist. I think her mom was very real. I think people do get killed. People do get run over. The driver, though, it turns out, was a leftist. Looks like he's on a bunch of drugs. All the managers of it were formerly working for Obama just a year ago, and Black Lives Matter and Soros and Antifa and every other group will occupy. And so then magically they're leading this thing all perfectly. There's a police stand down, and our reporters reported on the stand down. That's all confirmed. So what do you think, Posobiec? I mean, what do you call it? The whole thing's not staged. But then I never even said actors. They misrepresented what I said. And then it turns out that they did hire some actors. Democratic Party did have some there. But I guess that was just to agitate. Well, what's the best?
You call it a setup, Alex. You set up, I mean, there are people there on both sides that actually are believing these things. But the problem is they're drawn in by people, these agitators that are paid at the higher levels to sort of rile everybody up, to inflame the emotions, to target.
Well, that's what the ad says. The ad says to agitate.
Yes. They want to target you right at that lizard brain, right at that deep level of your cortex. They want to go after people to fire up them so that they want violence, they want to commit violence, and that eventually, because it's the hate, they just increase the hate. They want people on both sides to hate each other. Alex, there are now chats that are coming out from the other side where there were people in these chat rooms of these extremist groups saying, run them over with cars, run them over with cars. They were sending pictures saying doing this. This is up on Zero Hedge. Anyone can see it, where they were telling people to do this, putting up the images, and then eventually someone did it. So that's how you do. It's how you manipulate people's minds by showing them the image, generating the hate.
Sure, just like Democrats have been saying, Republicans are going to get killed, Trump's going to get killed. And then finally they see Alex Jones or Jack Posobiec walking down the street, or David Knight. It's like, you're a Nazi. I'm going to kill you. I'm not kidding. I don't want to make a big deal of this because it was so crazy. I'm stepping, and I see this car sitting there, coming out of a parking garage yesterday in Seattle, right by the Westin. And I go, I'm going to stop. And then the guy doesn't go, and I start stepping, and he jolts it forward like he's going to hit me. I get back out of the way, and I go, no, that wasn't on purpose. And all of a sudden the window goes down. He goes, F you, Nazi. And it's like going like this. And I went, get out of the car, coward. And my wife's like, no. I'm like, I just can't do it. I go, get out. And he goes, oh, yeah. I go, just get out of the car, man. See how, you're a big man. You're a coward. Your girlfriend knows you're a coward. And then he rides along beside us for about 30 seconds going, F you, calling me, sexual names and homophobic names, use that term. That's what I've noticed. The left behind the scenes are the most racist, spewing, nastiest scum.
But he was safe because he was in his 2-ton vehicle.
He was in a newer model Range Rover.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
But he wanted to have the semblance of a tough guy. It's like, dude, you just act like you were going to run me over. I got enough adrenaline right now that I'm not trying to be Mr. Tough Guy, but he's going to have a big problem.
Yeah.
Anyways, Posobiec, why do you think I was attacked by 97% white males? Are they trying to virtue signal, or what's going on?
It's partially virtue signaling, but I think it's also part of the testosterone issue that's going on in our country, because men are experiencing this lower testosterone, but at the same time, they have an innate desire, an innate nature to be more aggressive. That's just something, it's biological.
And the media tells them it's okay as long as it's Alex Jones.
Right, and so you want to expound that on something. We see this in the animal world all over the place. So when they're told, this is a target, that it's okay to expend some of that testosterone. Because remember, these people are taught by society, they're taught by institutions, you have to be quiet, you have to be good, you have to be nice. But then they bring up Alex Jones or somebody wearing a MAGA hat and say, this is the enemy, turn it all on this guy. So it's all this pent-up emotion, this pent-up testosteronal rage, and then you're pointing it, directing it at one target. Unfortunately, in this case, it's you and me.
I don't know. I looked at that guy as you're running that thing. I don't know if he had any testosterone. moving coffee at you.
But he saw me as such an enemy. He came out and went, F you, Nazi. So I said, hey, come here and tell me why you say that. Runs over, starts bumping into me, throws coffee in my face, and it's just like, and he was getting off on walking like a goblin. I mean, he actually gets off on it. And it turns out he is an actor. I didn't hire him. But I mean, every one of these guys, you can't swing a stick in a liberal heroin den and not hit an actor. They're all actors or comedians.
Yeah, we saw the same thing at the Lenin statue. And I was 2 days before you, Alex. And these people, they would come up to you screaming, drive by in the cars, flipping you off, calling you a Nazi, calling you this and that. And I would see people on the street and I would say, hi, would you like to come talk to me? Would you like to have a discussion about what statues we should have up or what's going on in our country, the things that are happening? I'm a nice guy. I'm a personable guy. I'm pretty approachable. I like to come to things with a smile on my face. But these people, they see it and it just triggers them. They turn on. It's like the running of the bulls when they see the red.
That's right. Well, they see you're successful and confident. And that's what scares me is they hate success. And they don't get America's where you actually have a shot at that. And that's in this incredible videos with Owen Schroyer. We should probably play them again the next segment if you have time, David. They're so riveting. It took Daria like hours to bleep all these out, though, because they're cussing every 3 words. Yeah. And they're saying, death to America, we hate America, it's the worst country. He's like, well, why don't you leave? I'm going to go to Switzerland. He's like, dude, you got to have $5 million in a trade they want to let you in. I mean, they're just so stupid. And he's like, what statue is that they're taking down? Oh, racist? Well, who is it? We don't know.
Yeah, and
it's Robert E. Lee, dumbass, the former head of the Northern Army.
I asked him, and I said, did you ask him when the Civil War started, when it ended? Because they don't know anything about any of this. I mean, they're attacking statues of Lincoln.
They don't even know Robert E. Lee's, father and grandfather were in the Revolutionary War. They don't know anything.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But they don't think they have to know anything because they have a truth, and you have a truth. And so
it's delusion.
To even talk to you.
They're not going to stop at these statues either. They're not going to stop with these ones. They're going to turn it on and say, well, you know what?
One day after Trump said they're going to want Jefferson, they wanted Jefferson.
And it was a Hamilton actor who said that.
And what's coming after is the works of Washington and Jefferson, the Constitution, the Declaration, the founding. You can see where this stuff is going. They're going to say, well, that was written by slave owners.
They admit that. And I was talking to a guy that grew up in Hungary under communism, or was it Romania, and he said, first, they target one little thing about the past, and then they put it onto everything. Then they overthrow your whole system, and you wake up total slaves, and all they use is religion and race to control you. He said, I grew up there. This is it. I'm warning you.
Yeah. And let me tell you who started that, too. It's Nikki Haley in South Carolina. She found that picture, the murderer, Dylan Roof, who goes in and in cold blood shoots some black people in church, and then they find a picture where he's got a Confederate flag, and they go on a holy jihad against all symbols like that. And, when you look at the Confederate flag...
And notice, a few events, they've kicked this off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But you look at how they co-opted that symbol. Well, they've also co-opted the Christian cross, the Ku Klux Klan did. They burned...
I was about to say, that
doesn't make Christian...
The Confederate battle flag it isn't even the flag of the South, but if you know what it is, it's the... what's his name? Saint whatever from Scotland.
St. Andrews.
It's the St. Andrews cross.
Yeah.
So now crosses.
They got taken off the subway because they got tile at a crossroads in New York City. So they said that looks too much like a Confederate flag. Purge it. Take the tiles off.
All right, Jack Posobiec, great job. People should get your book and find out more. Citizensfortrump.com. Jack Posobiec on Twitter. Amazing. More calls. David Knight and myself straight ahead. We're going right to Kevin and Jason and Barb. Stay with us. Infowars.com. They hate the website. Newswars.com. Newswars.com. Newswars.com.
And the GCN Radio Network.
You cannot beat these deals. These are our all-time best deals. Silver Bullet Loyal Silver, 66% off. Myco ZX, 46% off. Brain Force, 55% off. Survival Shield, 55% off. Secret 12, 55% off. The BuzzFeed group promoting this said the best vitamin B12 is $35, and that we're bad for selling it for $17.76 when ours is private label by the very group. They chose to say, here's the best, and here's Alex's. That's just providence that happened. So BuzzFeed just says, we are the best, the cleanest. We're just absolutely, and then they're just frothing, don't even know what to do. So please support us. As you know, there's a war. They're trying to shut everybody down. Please pray for us. Infowarsstore.com. or 888-253-3139. Got the Super Blue fluoride free with the colloidal silver and iodine toothpaste pack, and the children's in, as well as the new Super Blue mouthwash that is amazing. It's 50% off in the Super Silver pack. Inforwarsstore.com or 888-253-3139. But just make the commitment.
It's Paul Joseph Watson, and the t-shirt has finally arrived. Nothing triggers safe space snowflakes more than this slogan and my face. It is the new t-shirt from Inforwarsstore.com. Conservatism is the new counterculture. You've seen how much this triggers the safe space snowflakes. The left controls culture. They control arts. They control entertainment. They have the complete monopoly on culture, which is why conservatism is the new counterculture. We are striking back in the culture war. This triggers snowflakes like nothing you've ever seen in your life. You've seen how much they absolutely hate the image of my face and that particular slogan, conservatism is the new counterculture. This t-shirt is not only a conversation starter, it will trigger the holy hell out of leftists. It will make me incredibly happy. It's available right now. Get yours at InfoWarsStore.com.
Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to secure your canister. We have worked for years with our chemists and scientists to create the most powerful and affordable, great-tasting multivitamin formula available. Vitamin Mineral Fusion Drink Mix at InfoWarsLife.com is loaded with a full month's supply of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body absolutely needs. In the history of InfoWars Life, we've brought out a lot of amazing products like Survival Shield X2, Super Male Vitality, and so many others. With its unique delivery system and proprietary manufacturing process designed for maximized effects, this formula is the platinum standard of multivitamin mineral products. And this part is most important. The ingredients in Vitamin Mineral Fusion are either plant-derived or of the highest quality lab standard. That means it's clean. That means it's pure. And rest assured, you're fighting the tip of the spear in the info war. That's InfoWarsLife.com and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Take action now before we sell out.
Texas commence in the heart of the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
You know, folks say they want to see us take action against the globalists and expand their face. Well, we're doing it. I got day and night weekdays, big commitment, 8 a.m. to 11 in the morning, 3 hours. And then other stations can carry whenever they want. Infowars.com/show. We're going to take a few more calls. I'm going to hand the baton over to David. We're going to play a clip of the people chanting Death to America last night. You can laugh at these people. Remember, they're globalist funded. They mean business, and they have got control of your kids in the schools. We got to pull out from these vampires. Scum of the earth here in this spoiled, rotten nation, just totally pissed. We are going to have to end the BuzzFeed special tomorrow. I said I could probably run it through the month, but we're selling out a lot of our best-selling products like Brain Force, the Great Nootropic, at 55% off. DNA Force is going to sell out, still 20% off. Silver Bullet, 66% off. You sign up for auto ship, it's way beyond a loss leader. Auto ship, sign up for auto ship, you get additional 10% off. Cancel anytime. Knockout, our amazing nootropic for helping you sleep with 9 different key compounds from melatonin to L-tryptophan to valerian root to lemon balm and chamomile concentrate. Knockout is selling out and it's 50% off still. Myco ZX sold out. Some other products sold out. Secret 12, our great B12 that's rated. Even BuzzFeed tried to shoot it down, said it was totally clean, and listed it and rated it the top vitamin B12. They showed another one, said this is the top one. Yeah, this is Jones. Didn't tell you the one they said was the top one is people who are private labeling. How could you even make that? I mean, that may be intentional sabotage. Maybe Charlie Wurzel really is on our team. He never told me that in person or anything, but I don't want to get him in trouble over BuzzFeed. But checks in the mail there, Charlie. Continuing, Bio-True Selenium. We got to end the InfoWars Select High Quality Herbal Foods. 50% off. Never did that. That's ending today. Code word Goblin to get that. New Super Blue mouthwash. It's discounted. Caveman chocolate and strawberries in. 30% off. Alexa Pure Water Filters. Cannot beat the deals normally, but at 25% off at $147. It's unbelievable. Same thing with Alexa Pure Breeze. Air filtration 5 stage, including carbon filter, ion, you name it. Comparable systems are $400 to $800. Used to be $1,000. Prices are going down. At $250, this used to be a deal. Then we did it at $220. Now $149.96. Vitamin Mineral Fusion, 33% off. We'll have a few new specials tomorrow that are going to be great, but the big mega specials the last month and a half are going to come to an end. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. I want to go to Kevin, Jason, and Barb right now. And then, David, tell folks what you got coming up.
Well, Alex, I want to talk about what happened with the USS McCain, because this is not just the second collision in 2 months. There have been 4 this year in the Navy, and we need to take a look at what's going on with this, especially when we have President Trump having a speech tonight telling us what the strategy is going to be in Afghanistan. And understand the difference between increasing the troops and having a strategy. Adding more troops is a tactic. But what does it mean? What are we going to do? What is the goal in Afghanistan? That's what we need to hear tonight. Did the generals tell him what the goal is? Because we have been there for 16 years. What is the end game here? How do we know when we have won? That is the strategy.
By the way, for those that don't know, with the GPS and stuff they've got now, for them they're supposed to stay 50 miles away from any main shipping lane. That's just a tactic. I should ask Posobiec about this because he's in naval. I guess he can't talk about it because he's naval intelligence. They believe the Chinese or somebody is hacking in to the GPS software. There's no way that 2 of these, ships that cost almost $1 billion a piece have now been rammed. It's just they're being turned off. Yeah. Well, what do you make of this?
Well, I don't know. That's when it
isn't it funny? It's John McCain.
Yeah, I know. There's some jokes that can be made there, but right now it's a tragedy. We have 5 people injured, 10 people missing from that ship and presumed dead because they have.
I'm telling you, this is cyber warfare.
And so that is the question.
They need people. It shows how most pilots, they say, don't know how to land a plane anymore. And when there's bad weather, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That's why these landings are so much better than I was a kid, because it's a damn computer doing it. Excuse me.
That's right.
And what's happening here is, what happens when the GPS goes out, or what happens? Well, they need to have people with spotlights out there all night long on a ship watching. You don't just go off the radar or the GPS.
But it's even more complicated than that. As this guy pointed out in USA Today, and he is a former naval officer, he says we've had these 4 major incidents, and he said it's not just that you've got people in the Combat Information Center where they have no windows and they're reliant on their machines, but they also do have people who are looking out. They have people on the bridge of the destroyer. There's 5 watchstanders. Then they have people who are lookouts, 1 forward and 1 in the rear. So why are those people not seeing it? Perhaps it was difficult weather conditions. Perhaps it was at night, and maybe the visual spotters could not see it. And what you're talking about there in terms of the GPS being hacked, that's a big issue. But we've also had a lot of failures with military equipment. We've had these littoral ships, which are the ships that operate in shallow waters. We had a $360 million ship, and after being out for 20 days, it had to be towed back. They didn't have a backup power supply, so when the main engines went...
And that's like when Trump points out, we need to stop going with these. He points out, for 20 years, they've been trying to make these new electrical-powered, not gas-powered, air-powered launch cables for the jets. And he says, just get rid of it, because the military told him it's pure crap. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Go back to what works. Advance with what works. Go back with what works. It's just crazy. Kevin?
Doing with the Air Force One, too, yeah.
Exactly. Oh, and then the Russian airliner goes bankrupt. They never use the 2 jumbo jets. The military, the Air Force says, buy them back, because Trump doesn't want to spend money, and they spend it like, oh, see, Russians. It's just crazy, folks. Kevin in Florida, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Alex. I'm a long-time listener. I just want to say, with our current climate, I mean, we keep on saying it, but I feel like we're so razor-thin close to a civil war, because the informed Americans aren't playing by the same set of rules that are allowed from the leftist scum. I mean, the decks are stacked against us, and we're fighting an uphill battle, and we're trying not to use violence, and we're trying to use information. But the thing that people got to understand, these leftists, they don't want to hear that. They don't care. They're going to do what they want to do. They're going to push the agenda that is paying their bill. So I don't see any other route.
Good point. Here's an example, and we know it was them. The newspaper went and created, from our intel, a Craigslist ad saying we need actors to come protest the Lenin statue. Well, I never went to the Lenin statue in Seattle. I don't ever hire actors for anything unless it's like for a Craigslist ad or some modeling agency to have, a girl rub suntan lotion on her, or a guy pour caveman in a cup and stir it. I mean, this is real. There's no teleprompters. There's no actors. They just ran the fake news thing in newspapers that I was staging things, that the guy that attacked me was an actor, because he is an actor. But every one of those losers is an actor. They're all little delicate geniuses, okay? So again, and they even put out fake Craigslist with Mikhail Phelan's name on it. So they think we're doing these fake tactics to beat them. They go claim that we're making it up that they're fake. Then they go out and fake stuff, try to make it look like we're fake, doubling down that they're the ones that are fake. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it doesn't cost anything to run a Craigslist ad. You can look and see who the writers are, and you can put a Craigslist.
Yeah, we didn't just go off the Craigslist ad for Charlottesville or other areas. This company's been around since 2007. They're the ones that did Hillary's ads. Yeah. There's been Politico articles where they're interviewed, New York Times articles. This is a real group hiring people for Antifa.
Yeah.
I mean, we have them advertising. We have a 10-year track record.
Right.
We're not just saying they did this. We have proof.
Yeah.
But see, the media goes, how do we counter Jones? Well, he says we're actors. We'll just put out fake stuff saying he's hiring actors.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they do. They project onto you, and that's what Hillary Clinton did with the Russian issue, right? She's got all these Russian issues. She's got all these issues with national security violations. And so what does she do? She projects all of that onto Donald Trump. So it inoculates her against that. And, of course, we've got the...
Exactly, because, wait, she's the one fighting the Russia stuff. When it's her in bed with it,
yeah.
And the indictments are coming. Great point, Kevin. Jason in Canada. Dun, 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 dun. You're on the air.
Hi, Alex.
Hey.
I've been listening since June 2016. I really like your show, and I just want to say first off that your show's the reason why I got me and my family out of tap water, and I opted my beautiful, smart daughter, 12 years old. They wanted to give her a three-pronged concoction. I opted out of it, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you, brother. I mean, the tap water is so full of 300, 400 poisons on average. The number one thing anybody can do is purify their water. They act like that's kooky and weird. And they go, he's selling money, selling filters. Exactly. We sell things we believe in and use. That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, you look at things like Flint, Michigan, or the situation in California where they dumped that carcinogen into the groundwater there. Wouldn't you like to not find out after the fact that you and your family have been drinking this stuff? They should have filtered out.
Most well water and most tap water tastes like total crap.
Yeah.
There are some aquifer wells that taste completely awesome. I used to have a farmhouse and an aquifer well, and I got divorced. My ex-wife got it all. But the point is that doesn't matter. That was good well water, and you could taste it. It was great. We'd even had it tested, and it was pretty clean. But compared to what you get with a ProPure or an Alexa Pure that cuts stuff down to non-detectable or 999999999, depending on what it is, I mean, yeah, there's hundreds of things you're cutting out.
Yeah.
And there's runoff into the aquifers as well. You're insane if you're not filtering your water. Anything else, Jason?
Are you still there?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
Okay, I grew up on well water. I was in a rural area when I grew up, and then they came to our public schools, all the kids in the farm areas, with like a fluoride that they would have us put a half cup in our mouth and swish it around and go up and down the hall. When we got back, we spit it out into the fountain. So they got us with the fluoride that way.
Oh, I remember getting sick. They had those little pills. You suck on in your mouth, red pills. You get real sick off of them.
Well,
I remember getting really bad head. Just looking back now, I wonder if that was because I can't get the timeline, but I remember at one time, I was around the same time, I accidentally swallowed some of it one time, like in grade 3, and I got this massive migraine headache.
Well, it says on the insert of toothpaste, if you don't swallow it and you only use a pea-sized amount, and if you do use more than that, call poison control immediately.
Well, look, Harvard and other people have done studies to correlate a decrease in IQ to fluoride consumption at certain levels. But the question is this:
1.6.
How do you know if they dump it into the water supply what level of fluoride you're getting? You don't know if you're getting more than an.
It's like saying you drink sunscreen to not get burned by the sun.
Exactly, but when why would you, even if it's something that's good, why would you dump it in the water supply? Because you have no control over the dosage. A child is going to get the same dosage as an adult male.
Yeah, well, the Harvard study said 1.6 parts per million, which is what the U.S. standard. Reduced IQs on average more than 10 points after just several years of use in a prepubescent child.
Yeah.
And it 8 8-fold increase in bone cancers in boys. And it's just a big laundry list because they're not using calcium fluoride. You're an engineer, you know this. They're using hydrofluorosilicic acid, which is an electrified, I'm not the chemist like you, but they basically add more stuff onto it, a charge, and then it makes it way more bioavailable and makes it an adjuvant, basically.
Yeah, exactly. An irritant like they do in the vaccines. So, yeah, none of it makes any sense. And so you have to take control of your own life. And that's one of the things that we can do. Fortunately, right now, we can take control of our life. And that I wish it was that easy to filter out the Federal Reserve and the federal government.
Exactly.
I wish I could buy a can to do that, but I can't.
Jason, great points. Barb in Illinois, last caller, and we're going to play this clip, and David's going to take over and finish up. Go ahead, Barb.
Hi, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say I respect everything you're doing. I followed you all through Seattle this weekend. The reason I'm calling is because you've been talking about it's about Scott Baio yesterday tweeted out that today, he says, beware what's happening today, and he showed a video of Douglas Ducott Sr., a U.S. Army retired CEO of Veterans United for Justice, saying that the senators were going to pass a vote on censoring President Trump. Have you heard anything?
Censoring or censuring?
Censuring. S-U-R.
Guys, search engine censure of Trump. Put that into the search engine. I've not heard of that. But I know there's all sorts of horrid Republican senators and Democrats together wanting to grandstand and build towards their impeachment case as Trump desperately tries to turn the economy back on. What did you know about it, Barb?
I found out, I saw the tweet last night. I was so mad. I started calling all these senators last night, leaving messages, but there's 8 of them. They're supposed to be turning and voting with the Democrats.
Yeah, there it is. It's are leading a fight to censure Trump. The Democrats are pushing that. They got some Republicans involved. They've got impeachment talk going as well. Yeah, censure him for racism when he's done no such thing, and the Democrats are led by a literal Nazi collaborator, Barb.
Of what he said after the Charlottesville thing, of both sides being wrong, which he was correct of saying, and
well, he's seen that from the campaign rallies that he had when they had a permit for a rally. They had a political rally. They weren't hurting anybody, and the left shows up, gets violent, starts destroying property, starts attacking the police. This has gone on through the entire.
Look, we got all the studies. Modern liberals are criminals.
Yeah,
they're mentally ill. They're criminals. They steal. We keep asking what's wrong with them. They're part of the collapse of civilization. Barb, we're going to go out to break with this clip of the statues being taken down last night. People that didn't even know what statues they were at UT and screaming death to America. Our own Owen Schroyer covering. And then David Knight's going to come back with closing comments. And then he'll be back tomorrow morning, Lord willing, 8 a.m. Central. But let's go ahead and go to this piece.
That's why you're here, to bring up Mike Brown. That has nothing to do with this at all. You're out here saying it's a white supremacy country as you preach free speech in the streets. My man, I don't have any men, so I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone here is American. Y'all are my men. We should all be able to get along.
I'm not.
Okay, you're not my man. Do you hate America?
Kinda, yeah.
You hate America.
Death to America.
Say that again.
Death to America.
Wow. Wow.
Nice job.
Death to the greatest country in the history of the world.
It's not the greatest country in the world.
Really? Tell me a country that's had a higher standard of living than the American way of life.
Let's see, Switzerland, Finland.
Switzerland. Do you know about Switzerland?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, what about Switzerland?
So Switzerland has.
Why are they so wealthy?
I don't know. Banking.
You don't know. You seem to know a lot, but you seem not to know anything.
I don't. Like, I'm literally. It's a like euphemism. I don't know. Imperialism and like the colonization of African.
Probably white nationalism too, right?
No, it's not white nationalism.
Do you know it's like impossible to become a citizen of Switzerland?
Why is
It's one of the most conservative nation states.
It's hard to become a citizen here.
They hoard guns. Oh, really? You can walk right across the border, actually. Now the new president's changing it.
You're that's how that works.
Yeah,
right?
you're above the law, actually.
You're above the law, really. You're not.
So you guys hate America. You guys hate America, the greatest country on earth. Everyone in the world wishes they could live here. You understand that?
That's not true.
Wow. And what you're listening to is Owen Schroyer at the University of Texas here in Austin. They want to take down a statue of Robert E. Lee. They don't know what they're destroying. And the key thing is that we have people like this that are now able to get to the point where they are removing the symbols, purging the symbols of our country, and that's not where they're going to stop. They want to get rid of our borders, our economy, our laws, our culture, our history. This is a part of destroying America as a nation. And as ridiculous and as stupid as these people are, you have to be concerned about the fact that they're actually accomplishing what they wanted to do. That is, I think, the scariest thing that we see out there. And there's many different dimensions to this, and of course it's been going on for a while. Who would have thought that we would get to this level of insanity, of inanity, if you want to put it that way? I mean, this is idiocracy, as Mike Judge has put it out there, but it's idiocracy with violence. We have seen this happen in country after country as part of the plan. And of course, Bill Ayers and the Weathermen, what did they do at the very beginning? They were the ones who started floating this idea that is indoctrinated into all of our children throughout their K through 12 education, the idea of white privilege. They called it white skin privilege. That was Bill Ayers talking about that. Again, focusing on racial divisions in America because they knew they had already tried to do it along economic class lines that had been successful in Europe, but it was not successful in America. So that was where they were going. Now I want to go back to the specials that we have here. And of course, this is going to be ending very soon, so take advantage of these specials. These are the things that allow us to expand our operation. We had a new program start this morning, Real News. I'm hosting that from 8 to 11 Central Time. That's 9 to 12 Eastern Time. And it's your support that allows us to proceed with these new programs, to grow, to expand, to cover larger sections of time with real news. And so we have this special 1776, a great number of items that are there, 55% off Brain Force, 55% off of, Survival Shield X2, Nascent Iodine, Secret 12, Vitamin B12, all three of those, 55% off. Knockout, 50% off. Silver Bullet, 66% off. That's why the sale is going to have to end. We are selling out of product, and we have to reserve some of this for those people who have signed up for auto ship. Also, free shipping, and this is the last day, so make sure you sign up for that. We want to help you. We want to let you try these products. If you've never tried some of these products, now is a great time to try this. See how effective these products are, high-quality products that we sell here at Infowars, and we do thank you for your support. I want to get back to this story about the USS McCain, because tonight we're going to have Donald Trump selling the country on the plan that was put together by the generals at Camp David on Friday, the day that they got rid of Steve Bannon. As you heard Jack Posobiec say, Steve Bannon was going to present a different approach that coincided with what Donald Trump ran on when he ran for president, the agenda that he wanted to do, to put basically America first, to not get us tied into a forever war. He was not allowed to present that plan. He was removed. And the day that he was removed, they had this meeting in Camp David. And the way that it was reported by General Mattis, the Secretary of Defense, he said, Trump delegated to me when he came in the tactical and operational decisions. He did not delegate 1 ounce of the strategic decision. Well, what was Bannon's position there in the White House? Well, he was the White House chief strategist. He would have had something to say about this. And of course, he was removed by the generals, by McMaster, from the National Security Council as soon as McMaster was put in there. And then he was removed from the Camp David meeting where they were going to talk about an Afghan strategy. And this is what Mattis said. He said, Trump came in with a very different course of action. And I think he now needs the weekend to collect his thoughts about how he's going to explain it to the American people. We're going to hear that explanation tonight. And that's going to be at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Donald Trump is going to go live. And so the troop increase, and don't let them fool you on this. I like to talk about tactics and strategies. Yes, he is a major general, a very modern major general, if you know Gilbert and Sullivan. But look, let's understand the difference between a troop increase and a strategy that says this is what winning looks like. Here's when we know we're done in Afghanistan. If you don't hear that tonight, you should be having warning bells going off. BS should be going off when you hear this plan. Because we need to know what their strategy is. We need to know how they define success. We need to know how long they're going to take to do this. That is the strategy. increasing the troops by 4,000 or by whatever the number that they come up with, that is simply a tactic. And when we have this discussion tonight, I want you to keep in the back of your mind the tragedy that just happened again, just 2 months after we had a similar strategy, the USS McCain colliding with a merchant ship at sea. This is the 4th mishap this year at sea. And this is what the person who wrote about this in USA Today pointed out. As he said, there's a very high-tech, isolated control system that is in the Combat Information Center. There's no windows, you can't see obstacles, but there's several sailors, and they've got all these radar screens and military sensors and so forth. And, of course, that could be easily hacked. But then you also have, on the bridge of the destroyer, at least 5 watchstanders, and then you have additional people forward and aft of the ship. All of these systems failed not just once, but twice in 2 months. What is going on? Well, here's the consequences of this that he points out. He said, generally when something like that happens, you look at the chain of command. Are these guys literally asleep at the wheel? What's going on? But he goes, this has a big effect, and when we see this many incidents, we know that this is not the problem of one commander. This is some kind of a systemic problem. And he points out, after this incident, we've now got 25% of the total force of Destroyer Squadron 15 now indefinitely out of commission during a period of heightened tensions between North Korea and the U.S. and its allies, and senseless deaths of sailors, and the indefinite loss of two $2 billion ships. This is what we're getting from the military. Are we getting our money's worth? Are we getting involved in wars that we have no plans of winning, that we have no strategy to finish? I think we are. And I think a key part of this goes back to H.R. McMaster, and I'll tell you why. He wrote a book called Dereliction of Duty, and that is now pretty much required or recommended reading for the Marine Corps, for many others in the military. And what it is an after-action report of the Vietnam War. The central thesis of that, when he said the dereliction of duty, he believed the dereliction of duty wasn't so much a failure of civilian leadership. He said the civilians didn't know what they were doing, and the dereliction of duty was on the part of the military who didn't tell them what to do. I think McMaster and the other generals are telling Trump what to do. I think they told him to do something that he did not want to do, that he said was the wrong thing when he was running for president, that we agreed with him on. Said we don't want a forever war, so we want to watch this very carefully tonight to see what is happening. As Alex said, this may be the point at which things go sideways. We're going to watch this very carefully. Support Trump by supporting his agenda. That's it for this broadcast. Join us again tomorrow, 8 o'clock a.m. for The Real News with David Knight.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
You cannot beat these deals. These are our all-time best deals. Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver, 66% off. Myco ZX, 46% off. Brain Forge, 55% off. Survival Shield, 55% off. Secret 12, 55% off. The BuzzFeed group promoting this said the best vitamin B12 is $35, and that we're bad for selling it for $17.76 when ours is private labeled by the very group. They chose to say, here's the best, and here's Alex's. That's just providence that happened. So BuzzFeed just says, we are the best, the cleanest. We're just absolutely, and then they're just frothing, don't even know what to do. So please support us. As you know, there's a war. They're trying to shut everybody down. Please pray for us. Infowarsstore.com or 888-253-3139. Got the Super Blue fluoride free with the colloidal silver and iodine toothpaste pack, and the children's in, as well as the new Super Blue mouthwash that is amazing. It's 50% off in the Super Silver pack. Infowarsstore.com or 888-253-3139. But just make the commitment.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones.
Selling real with Chevy.
Hard to believe it's already Monday, the 21st day of August, 2017. But it is.
From the Inforwars.com News Center, deep behind enemy lines in occupied Texas, broadcasting worldwide, you're listening to the voice of human resistance against the technotronic technocracy takeover. You're listening Alex Jones.
Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot make this up. The globalists must destroy the Renaissance in Western civilization that was all about overthrowing feudalism, because globalism is modern feudalism. That's what technocracy is. So all language, all symbols must be changed to be race-based so that everyone can be manipulated against each other. It's like a mentally ill person, seeing monsters in the clouds in the sky. The Atlantic has come out and said that the eclipse is racist. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't seen one like it since 1776. Is it an omen of the rebirth of the Republic? John Bound reports.
Eclipse of the sun, visible today over North America for the last time in this century. Now from New York, here is correspondent Frank Reynolds.
Good morning. This is indeed a special events broadcast of a genuine special event. The last total eclipse of the sun over the continent this century. The moon is moving between the sun and the earth and across a relatively narrow strip of the northwestern United States and central Canada. What you are seeing now is a picture taken from the Goldendale Observatory, and it's showing the eclipse of the sun over Portland, Oregon. It is approximately 75% or so of totality. In 13 minutes, it will be total over Portland, and we'll show you a fantastic sight then.
When the skies darken across the United States, electric companies will face a massive challenge: how to avoid power disruptions and a post-eclipse surge that could cripple the nation. Another issue has to do with cell phone usage, because some of these rural towns, your population is 6,000. It's going to grow to 150,000 people coming to check it out. Your cell phones aren't going to work, so they're actually bringing in cell phone towers, and everybody's going to be trying to do what? Send out a picture, look at the solar eclipse, and you're not going to be able to get those messages.
Founding father Samuel Adams said, "Numerous have been the manifestations of God's providence in sustaining us. In the gloomy period of adversity, we have had our cloud by day and pillar of fire by night. We have been reduced to distress, and the arm of omnipotence has raised us up." On August 21st, 2017, Providence will cover the continental United States of America as a total solar eclipse. Retired NASA astrophysicist and photographer Fred Espenak, aka Mr. Eclipse, told ABC the total solar eclipse on August 21st is particularly rare because it's the first time the path of totality exclusively crosses the continental United States from coast to coast since June 8, 1918. It's also the first continent-wide eclipse to be visible only from the United States since 1776. That's the really unique thing, Espenak told ABC News. It's not a particularly long total eclipse. It's not an especially wide path of totality, but it crosses the U.S. and no other country.
Well, the point of greatest eclipse is a point along the eclipse path that's determined by the axis of the moon's shadow. It's the instant when the axis of that shadow, if you could imagine that axis piercing the earth as the moon sweeps across the planet, it's the instant when that axis passes closest to the very center of the earth. In terms of looking at the alignment of the earth, moon, and sun, it's when that alignment becomes as close as it's going to get during that particular eclipse.
And as this epochal event, which has not been experienced since the year of the United States' birth in 1776, returns in its continental entirety, singling out the United States, it allows Americans to reflect on the stark contrast the bureaucratic federal government has become when compared to the days of the implementation of our founding principles. Liberals, isn't it obvious? Even the universe disagrees with you. Will you order a Mueller special prosecution against the sun and the moon as you pointlessly shake your fist at the sky with all the hubris you can muster? John Bound reporting for Inforwars.com.
Powerful. I told you that last month's specials were the biggest we've ever had, with the largest number of products. And I'm just getting more and more into sales because folks love it and you respond so well that we're able to still operate and fund ourselves and lower prices. And we are calling it now the BuzzFeed special. It's last month's specials and the 1776 specials of this month. Hands down, the biggest specials we have ever offered in my 22 years on air. The BuzzFeed special is last month's and this month's specials all together at once, and many items have free shipping. All items have free shipping on orders of $50 or more. Brain Force Plus, 55% off. Survival Shield X2, the good halogen, especially with all this nuclear war talk. Everybody should have it. This is the purest form of iodine. Secret 12, super high quality iodine that BuzzFeed's analysis said we sell for $12 less than the leading brand that it's private labeled of, and that we have the very best deal in the world. BuzzFeed tried to attack us and said, totally clean California standards, and that we sell the #1 B12 in the world. Their analysis had to admit, okay, it's true. Excuse me. It's hilarious. They didn't know that part, so they said, this is the best B12 example, $35. Theirs is just pure B12, totally clean, but it should be, a lot less. When ours was $17.76 and theirs was $35, the exact same one, private labeled by us. Oh boy, that's delicious. The irony of that is incredible. BioTrue Selenium, 29% off, $17.76. Inforwars select sortable food with promo code GOBLIN, 50% off. We've never done that. It's always 30-40% when we have a big sale. 50% off right now. You're crazy if you don't get sortable food. New Super Blue mouthwash with colloidal silver and iodine. Amazing. It is discounted right now. Silver Bullet, 66% off. Boom. Myco ZX, 46% off. Boom. Caveman, chocolate and strawberry, 30% off. Boom. Alexa Pure Water Filtration, 25% off. Boom. Alexa Pure Breeze, 25% off. Boom. Vitamin Mineral Fusion, 33% off. Knockout, 50% off. DNA Force, 20% off. And there's even more. Infowarsstore.com. You need these high-quality products. They're amazing. You need these high-quality air filtration systems in your house. You need to be purifying your water. We've got the best gravity-fed systems. We've got the children's fluoride-free toothpaste back in Super Blue with colloidal silver and iodine. It's all there, Infowarsstore.com. And when you fund us, it rubs the globalist in the ground, and they hate it, and they can't stand it, and they don't know what to do about it. Infowarsstore.com or 888-253-3139. And this is the biggest sale we've ever had. I keep saying, this is a big one, this is a big one. This is the biggest because I combine two, and I love to make fun of BuzzFeed.
You've got it.
This transmission is coming to you.
Waging war on corruption.
All right, you are so.
It's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the Infowar.
We see the earth.
You've got it.
We see the earth now.
You've got it.
We see the earth.
You've got it.
We see the earth now.
It's hard to believe that there has not been a total eclipse of the sun by the moon that sweeps across the United States, across North America, since 1776. It was seen by the founders as providence and as a sign. But undoubtedly, ladies and gentlemen, the social engineers that wish to steal the secret of the Renaissance transmute through their satanic alchemy everything into a race-based, mindless, idiotic system. The stories from the Daily Caller. It is Atlantic Monthly, one of the top globalist anti-human publications. The folks are trying to organize a violent coup of the president. The eclipse is racist because it fails to affect enough black people, the Atlantic suggests, as if the elites and the billionaires care about anybody but themselves. But then everything is this virtue signal as they hobble the minds of the public. Last night, Owen Schroyer had seen on the news that they had just announced they were going to take down Confederate statues at the University of Texas overnight. And so he went down there, and there are two lengthy videos on Infowars.com that are expletive-laden. And if you were white down there, and you're trying to cover it, people march over and say, "Why are you here?" And Owen says, "Well, I'm a journalist. This is very interesting that in the dead of night they're removing these." And then the people start screaming, "We hate America," and start chanting death to America and screaming and howling and freaking out. And you hear the hysterical voices on these tapes we're going to be playing. Owen's going to be in studio at the bottom of the hour, and it is just mental illness. My ancestors were persecuted by these people. I mean, I could dig back and find anything you can want that's gone on to my ancestors, and I feel some psychic wound, and I'm a loser, and then you're guilty. This is total scientific hobbling. This is people having their Achilles tendons culturally sliced so that you're just a walking basket case. Look at what Charles Barkley said. He said, I don't even know who these people are on these statues and never even hardly seen one or been affected by it. Quit letting people manipulate you into stirring up a fight. That's all this is a bunch of craziness. And then people pulling them down think they're like defeating somebody. This is all part of the power structure wanting to set the precedent to be able to remove whatever they want, whenever they want. And of course now they're going after Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. Doesn't matter, they were born into a system that was going on all over the world. Doesn't matter that England and then Europe and then the United States led the world in ending slavery. You go to the college or you watch TV, you never know that, even though it's a scientific fact that the UK, back then England, the British Empire went to war with more than 50 countries to end the slave trade. We had a war in 1812 with them over it. But you'd think over in England that they teach them over there that they invented slavery. Hell, the Britons used to be slaves under the Romans. Total upside down, crazy town world. And you've got a bunch of people going to college being given worthless degrees for worthless futures, and they psychologically poison them, and they psychologically brainwash them where you're not getting a real degree for a real future because the future doesn't need you. The robots are taking over. That's all admitted. But first, we've got to disease your mind with a chip on your shoulder where all you see is racial stuff, where all over the United States they've banned the term lynch off of halls, libraries, you name it. And then they're even talking about not letting folks be on the faculty named Lynch because it's an Irish name. There was the Lynch trials 200 plus years ago where father and son hung the other son because they thought he committed a crime. And there was a famous trial called the Lynch trial. I mean, if somebody's got the last name Simpson that's associated with the OJ trial, do you ban the name Simpson? This is banning words catering to the mental illness. Oh, we got Play-Doh for you to come play with. If you're upset, you hear about the Constitution. We've got videos at colleges where folks see a Constitution, they get so triggered they go in and cry and they say, come in here, we have Play-Doh for you. We have colors, we have crayons, and you sit there at a little table that's a foot high with your legs crossed like a baby, and they go, aren't you a good mental patient? So Atlantic Monthly and others are saying it's racist. The eclipse is racist. Just everything has to be hijacked with garbage. American Blackout, a tour of the solar eclipse path reveals a nation that fought to maintain a different sort of totality. What? Meanwhile, as they're teaching people that see the imaginary racism everywhere, then have chips on your shoulders, then wonder why folks are scared of you or don't want to work with you, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like the schizophrenic seeing the clouds and thinking they're monsters coming to get them. One time I had a homeless person stumble up to me on the street and say, look, it's following me. And it was the sun. And there's more of them. It was pointing at clouds. This person was a full-on schizophrenic, out of their bonkers mind. Same deal. But they're imposing it. Colorado man stabbed because of his neo-Nazi haircut. Look, even Yahoo legitimizes it. Well, like maybe he deserves it. New York Post got it right. Man stabbed over a haircut gets him mistaken for a neo-Nazi. He pulls up at a fast food place to go in and get a shake and steak in Denver, Colorado. And a guy runs up screaming, "You're one of them Nazis," and tries to stab him in the neck, but he blocks it. Almost chops his fingers off. And then I saw people on Twitter going, "Yeah, kill him. He deserves it." Doesn't matter that most of the basketball players you see who happen to be black have the same haircut, or David Beckham or anybody else. It doesn't matter. You need to find that racism in the eclipse, in a guy's short haircut, in whatever it is. You've got to find it. It's got to be there. So that's why I've issued a travel advisory for the United States for white folks going to places like Denver, Detroit, places like Chicago, places like Seattle, because I've been to these towns and I've experienced it. I've got some of the statistics here. Black Lives Matter supporters have to grapple with this chart. And it shows that, I kept saying 10 times more likely for whites to be attacked by blacks. That's a watered down number. It's 25 times more likely, according to the Bureau of Statistics and the FBI. 25 times more likely if you're white to be attacked by a black person than vice versa. You can just type into Google, before they change this, I'm sure, black on white crime, and we'll put up some of those graphics. 25 to 1 physical attack, homicides. Blacks killed by whites, 2%. Blacks killed by police, 1%. Whites killed by police, 3%. Whites killed by whites, 16%. Whites killed by blacks, 81%. Of whites killed is by blacks. Blacks killed by blacks, 97%. Those statistics are from 2015. They're always 2 years behind. And this was not happening 50 years ago. In fact, illegitimacy in the black community in most areas was lower than the white areas because they were predominantly very serious Christians. But they brought the social engineers in the 50s and 60s. The Democratic Party did. You know, I love how the Democrats are acting like Republicans have these Democrat Party people whose statues are being pulled down all over the country. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Robert E. Lee or you're trying to pull down Thomas Jefferson. I mean, those are Democratic Party icons. I love how you got blacks running around yelling and screaming as the media told them to with a bunch of white knight race pushers. When you don't have any blacks living that ever even saw slavery, you've got all these whites who were never connected to it. And then you've got the Democratic Party that is literally pushing this, that's removing their history, and then somehow that's all Donald Trump's fault. In fact, I tweeted that out this morning, that point. I've noticed a lot of other people making. It's just total hype, hysteria, mental illness. And the statistics are all there. I mean, there needs to be reparations for white people the last 20, 30 years getting attacked and killed by the tens of thousands every year. Seriously, if you want to play this whole game, and I'm not actually asking for that, there needs to be real travel advisories. They used to have in the 60s, some places like Selma, Alabama, the New York Times would put travel advisories out for black folks. Well, you know what? They needed a travel advisory. That's true. But we need real travel advisories now. The white folks need to understand that there is the promotion and the pushing of you being mugged, you being killed by the new Black Panther Party, everybody else. They're saying, go out and kill a white person. Go out and mug a white person. Go out and commit crime in their neighborhoods because they deserve it. And you got a bunch of moral justice warrior, social justice warrior, virtue signaling white people that are so whacked out of their brains. When I was in Seattle, I couldn't walk 30 feet without them running up and screaming, "F you, Nazi," and then running because they're such cowards, but they act like a body snatcher cult.
The answer.
Mark Moreno is our guest. He's been traveling the world. They've had arrest warrants out for him. They want him arrested here in the United States. The governor of New York wants him arrested because he questions Al Gore when Al Gore says the polar bears are all dying and can't swim, and that New York and LA would be underwater by 2013 because the ice caps are going to melt. Actually, Antarctic's at record levels. But they don't care because they can defraud the public. But recently in Australia, he ran into Albert Gore, the guy that told us NAFTA and GATT was great and wanted us to have the TPP, the guy who uses 34 times what anybody uses on average in Tennessee, at one of his gigantor mansions on a lake with gigantor boats and gigantor monster trucks and gigantor everything. But it's okay because he's an elitist blubberbot. So here's the evil criminal Mark Moreno daring to even speak to the guru. Here it is. Blubberbot.
Sorry, my friend, Senator James